Hey everyone. I just finished my workout here at the gym with my class. So I apologize if I look tired. I also have eyeliner on because I had a show performance yesterday. Um, if you guys go to, I'll put it in my description box below. I'm trying to build my dance channel, my performance channel, separately from my words for wisdom because they're getting mixed up. And some of you are probably getting recommendation videos of something I danced 10 years ago. So I'll put in the description box below. But what came to my attention yesterday, and what I think is also there's a connection with tomorrow. Um, I've been doing a lot of battling with myself. Sorry, my nose is running. I've been battling with darkness, and I've been battling with keeping positive. Everyone has darkness. Everyone has a form of darkness. But you might like to drink beer watching the game. That's darkness. You're turning to something in order to enhance the good feeling, to complement the positive environment that you have. It doesn't mean darkness is evil. Darkness is just sort of like what we suppress when we are not completely uninhibited. I was just sharing with a girl today who came to my class for the first time. I said, when I perform this character, it's like this form of traditional Persian dance, but it has like a tribal hip hop fusion mixture to it, because I think what's been aching inside of me was the dark person I used to be in the past, the one who ran around town, did whatever he wanted with whoever he wanted. Sometimes that person tries to manipulate me and really tries to convince me to relapse. And it's not just one department of relapse, by the way, people. It's not drugs. It's sometimes it's just loneliness, wanting company. Sometimes it's not wanting to be home, wanting to be at the club, things like that. But when I don't surrender to those feelings, I get an anxiety attack or I get a panic attack. And on the weekend, on Saturday, I really wanted to just stay home and relax and just be, a corpse who can go to bed for 5 hours. And I relied on CBD oil, and I didn't pay attention to the level of THC in the CBD oil. And it sort of was an acid trip, and it kind of spiraled me out of whack because I couldn't stay home. I was too nervous. Everything that I possibly felt in all my life happened. Like, oh, am I gonna go to jail? Because I'm just out and about. I can't relax. My heart is beating like a rabbit, and the milligrams of the CBD oil was 1,500. So obviously there's THC in there. I should have checked it, and I guess I didn't. I was just a little desperate to find a resolution besides medication and prescription meds to resolve my anxiety issue. But I was just talking to someone today, and I realized that the darkness that we suppress hold into us. For me, for my example here, I have to give him a place to be himself, not dwelling into things that are behind closed doors, but let's put him on the spot. So Avant Rouge is like this character that I felt fit best to name this performer with this specific style. And I'm allowing the darkness of the creation of the choreography of the character to enchant the audience, to be a better person by inspiring people. You can do yeah, I'm not trying to say you could do rituals, but you can do whatever dance you want, but you cannot do the symbols. You cannot, sell your, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to put in a way where I obviously know that I'm living two different realities, and it's becoming more and more apparent. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but there's another gentleman, I forget his name right now, but he's been going through it too. And he says that it was kind of instituted by an agency within our U.S., I won't say the other word, GO, ent, that they've been doing a silent weapon program where it's mentally using people to put their energy towards doing this work that's not on this planet, or they've created simulations of another world and having us build it and do stuff. It's a whole weird, it's a weird thing. But ever since I've become aware of that a couple months ago, that every time I go to sleep, I go to the same place all the time. I have my group of friends. We have like a little apartment. I'm doing normal stuff, brushing my teeth. We're playing music. There's someone I'm dating. Drugs are not illegal. But I think when you're doing this, the work like on these professional ships or whatever you want to call them, they don't allow coffee, they don't allow chewing gum or anything, but people have been sneaking it on in order to stay awake and alert and getting the job done. But then those frequencies are inviting archons into that environment. They don't want any type of archon or negative energy into that reality. So how does this all dial back into what my original context was that I think we need to think of darkness as a source, like dark matter. It's not evil, it's not intentional, it's not intended to hurt or harm people, but it was created in a sense to move light into their position. And light encourages dark to be better. Where dark becomes better, light becomes better. So it's like a stack. Did you hear that little ring in the back? So I hope this makes sense. Maybe this is for specific people, not everybody. Some people may not be able to hear the example in this message, but that's not what I'm not here to teach. I'm just here to share with you guys that I'm having a observation and awareness, and I've been pretty much ahead of the game before things happen with other people that are on the same conscious level. Long story short, I shared with this person today in my class about the serpent, because she was talking about Japanese dance, how it's just so, she says it's just so dark and depressing, and just, it hasn't changed. And I'm like, well, since 1800 to now, I mean, they've only done the same dance. Or even predating the 1800s, the early dynasty kingdom days, they were controlled. I mean, your country's mascot is the serpent, it is the dragon. So of course, a culture is going to be forced to manipulate it to keep a same frequency, keep the same. When you do the same dance all the time to the same music, you're keeping the same frequency locked in. You're keeping a suppression afloat, if that makes any sense. India, they have like the elephant. I don't know where the elephant came from, but I try to figure all that out. But I know we have the Enki and Enlil, right? Enki was the serpent. Enki was the snake. Enki was a dragon. It's all the same thing. Reptilian, it's dragon. It's reptile base. Same one who talked to Eve. She didn't eat an apple from a tree. What she did was she took what his insight was and she utilized it, and she made a bloodline of children with the serpent. she cheated on her husband. That's when reality had to shock them. They became conscious of their nudity because they were in bliss with each other, didn't realize there was a world outside, that existed until she stepped outside to do something against her oath. The same serpent Moses who had the staff and it turned into a snake right in front of Pharaoh. Pharaoh was trying to alert people that Moses was in tune with something that wasn't our, Heavenly Father. It got flipped on everybody. And the Bible is interesting because we look at it in one way and go, wow, these are all these truths. But if you had speaking of like my last video, if you had a Freemason, King James, who took the manuscripts and rewrote it, it's going to be backwards. That's how they operate. They operate backwards. That's why when President Trump does something, I always tell people don't trip, because it's not how you see it, it's really how you unsee it. And had people not told me these things, I would have been freaked out and like everyone, let me go protest. But then these protests don't really make us look good. It looks like we're protesting with everyone else in the world. And any subject can be created to bring forth martial law. Any subject one world, takeover can happen if you say the wrong thing to the wrong galactic government. They don't really want to know about women's rights and whatever. If you went to a higher entity outside of this earth that said we have lost control, people have been marching on the streets, you basically have been controlled. So this darkness, this thing, or even like when people, I'm flipping subjects, when people they say, oh, I'll have a glass of wine, but I only do it when I go out. I'll just do it on occasions. That's still your darkness. So if you have to suppress something until it's time to release it, that is a form of darkness. But it is a good way to control it. There's also a lot of things out there. There's meetings. Al-Anon is a great meeting because they can teach you about meditation and breathing and different techniques to control like those feelings, or integrating those feelings to an activity that's positive, like artwork, drawing, sculpting, photography, singing, things like that. So I like this to be somewhat insightful, not just focusing too much on the nitty gritty. I try to squeeze as much as I can within 15 minutes, but it has been a very crazy month, especially for me, and learning about my car accident I had 2 weeks ago. Basically, my life went on a reset. My realities collapsed, if that makes any sense. That's basically what I got from it. It was time to collapse the timelines. So everything that I have experienced and went through my whole awakening journey, they've all merged in this one timeline right now. And the same when I go to sleep, which didn't really happen when I did the CBD oil. So I'm wondering what will happen when I go to sleep tonight and I have to go back to where I go to when I sleep. What happened there? Am I going to pick up the pieces? What's going on? Or do I start a new timeline because I jacked up the flow? I don't know. But it's very interesting. Let me know if you guys can relate to what I'm saying, what I'm sharing. I'm very sane. I promise you guys that. I do a lot of emotional intelligence studies and research. So I do make certain that when I say something that I do realize the perception I'm going to be taking on if it is not clear what I'm saying. And if people think I'm on something, go for it, dude. But I'm not. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Tomorrow we have 1/11/1. So there's another reset or a crash or an event of some sort, a gateway, a portal, a vortex. Something is going to make itself known tomorrow, It's not anything to be worried about or precautious of, but these numbers do not lie. So you have the 29th, which 9 plus 2 makes an 11. 2019 makes a 1 because it all comes down to, it makes a 10, and then you cancel the 0. And it's January, so we cancel the 0. So you have 1, 11, 11. So this actually could be a good thing for us. It could be an angel gateway portal, or more downloaded messages, more insight on the event that's coming in March. Yes, there's a new event coming in March, if you didn't know. You might be seeing some feathers around you. That should be a good thing. There was a feather today, randomly. This girl saw it near my foot in my class this morning. I'm like, this is an exercise class. You need to be focusing on the workout, not my feet. But she saw the feather and she gave it to me. And I had it in my pocket all day. And so when I went in to reach it, it's not there. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. And keep posted. I will post something tomorrow. It is going to be a really good... I feel good about tomorrow. I feel good about these new energies and releasing the suppression of the dark side. I think a lot of this has a lot to do with China going to the dark side of the moon as well, because the way our bodies respond, our realities react to the same way that our real physical reality is going to. So if they went to the dark side of the moon, it sort of puts us into a path of going through. It's like we are parallel with everything that's going on. Like the border wall. I know I hate to bring it up, but everyone has a blockage right now somewhere, and we have to figure out how to sit down and compromise with the blockage, or we're gonna have to figure out how to deal with the consequences if we don't act too soon. We're all going through that. So anyway, take care, everybody. Bye.